back, everybody, to our round 3 of the winner's bracket. We're going to have a great game here because it is a Cybran versus Cybran on open palms, and you all know what that means. So we'll go ahead and introduce our first Cybran here. Spawning in the color yellow, it is SoulRipper. And he has thrown down an early research station and expanding his economy. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, spawning in as the red Cybran ACU, it is Osmos, who has elected to go for an early air factory, which in Cybran vs. Cybran I think is a great move. These are two very good players, and I expect this to be a very good match between them. And anytime there's a Cybran vs. Cybran mirror match, I'm always excited. You all know that about me. So I don't know who to root for here. It really divides my loyalties. In any event, Osmos is not scouting. He is hiding his air and building up that economy, expanding into the back, which is a safe place for him to do so with that air. It's an awful long rush distance to get bots into the back there, so that air can really do a lot to stop them before they get there. Meanwhile, we've got a few bots coming out. SoulRipper finishing off his early eco here. And where are those bots headed? Right around the sides, as always. The good old bot flank. Works just as well in Cybran vs. Cybran as it does in Cybran vs. anything, really. Of course, the disadvantage is that your Cybran enemy also has bots, which are just as fast as yours. First 3 bombers coming in, and they're going to need another pass to take out that loyalist, but they will pop it before it gets in range to shoot anything at all. SoulRipper pauses his factories immediately. And, oh, I thought that was going to be an air tower based on the placement. Would have been perfect for an air tower right there. As it is, that radar is a little bit vulnerable. But it's going to need... Osmos is going to need a few more planes before he can really take it out. Air tower going up on that factory there. And there's the air tower. Okay. That's pretty much exactly the same placement as we saw in the last game on Open Palms that we cast. Alright. Osmos expanding his economy, and I think this is a really good way to expand in a mirror match like this, because it is a little bit easier to send your units up than it is to send them across. And so far, a lot of respect from both of these players. Neither one wants to overextend. And, ooh, a research station queued up by Osmos there. So the air does put him in a position where, you know, he can hold off all of these bots pretty easily. And even though he is behind on factories, it doesn't really matter that much because he's got such excellent map control right now. SoulRipper will be catching up a little bit, though. Throws down another factory. He's still got both of these paused, though. So I'm not sure exactly what he intends to do there. And we're seeing more energy generators go down. I'm thinking we're going to see a megalith here. I'm thinking Osmos is rushing that megalith as quickly as he can. SoulRipper, on the other hand, he did have that early research station, but he's been spending so much time putting anti-air defenses in place, and money putting anti-air defenses in place, that we really haven't seen any hint of what his tech choices might be down the road. Another research station queued up by Osmos. So yeah, he's really looking to bring this fast tech into the mid-game. And with a build like this, I'm guessing he's probably getting pretty close to Megalith now. Of course, that building of generators, you count the energy generators, and that gives you a clue as to what's going on in the game and what players are going for. There are a lot of techs that need a lot of energy, teleport, jump jets, and stuff like that, but there are some techs that really don't need a lot of energy. For example, Overcharge needs energy to activate, but like Nanogun doesn't take up energy. So it's always a good hint, and the timing of those energy generators as well. Obviously, we know there's not going to be any teleport in this particular matchup. And that little bot flank on the left will get caught here. So far, neither player really able to do very much damage to the other, despite losing a good number of bots here. SoulRipper's score is very, very close. So he's been doing a real good job of keeping his economy going, keeping his macro going. More energy generators coming down. And we're seeing more land factories as well. So maybe there won't be a gantry. Maybe this will just be a jump jet. And yes, the air factory is still going. There's not a ton of planes out, but with a good bombing run, they could take out a lot of bots at once. Another research station. I don't think there are stars on either side here. So these loyalists are going to be a really even matchup head to head. And I think with the planes, well, it really just depends on positioning, doesn't it? If SoulRipper gets out of position at all with his bots and doesn't manage to spread them, then those planes could really do some damage here. Aha! We do see a gantry, finally! It is early, it's an 8-minute and 30-second gantry, so I mean that's pretty quick in a pro match like this between two very good players. You know, not counting some of the crazier mega rush builds, but like for a solid macro game, that's a pretty good timing. And SoulRipper's going to have a very difficult time dealing with this. Again, we haven't seen any tech out of him. He has paused a whole bunch of his factories, and I'm wondering if he's going to be throwing down a gantry of his own in just a moment. The positioning of his commander here kind of leads me to believe that there's a gantry going down over here somewhere. But we will see what happens there. So far, nothing. I mean, we do see some Brackmen coming out, which is going to help deal with these loyalists, but this is not a huge blob. It's going to be pretty easy to dodge with this blob, and then with Megas backing it up. Plane goes down there. Aha, yes, we do see the gantry. Now, I'm not sure. That plane blew up just a moment after that gantry went down. I think SoulRipper was trying to wait to put the gantry down until the scout was gone, but I'm not sure. A glimpse of that gantry might have shown up right at the end there. This radar is a little bit far back, but if he has the radar range upgrade, he will be able to see that gantry, if maybe not that one. So again, Osmos is in a really good position here. He's already got 2 megaliths building, and 1 out on the field already. Oh, I missed that. Sorry, guys. So that mega is going to start marching forward towards the front of the base. Another gantry going down. We're now at 4 gantries and another air factory. Osmos is just running away with his economy here, and he's going to have a ton of experimentals out. SoulRipper is going to have a very difficult time dealing with this. I mean, he's got excellent production, but his economy is just not quite in... I don't know, it's pretty even actually, isn't it? But, you know, the fact that Osmos put down all these research stations just means that he got to it that much quicker. Factory shield's excellent at soaking up that damage from the megalith, but, you know, once it goes down, then the factory starts taking damage, and there is really nothing that SoulRipper can do to counter this until his own megas get out onto the field. He does have one about to pop. He's going to have a little bit of defender's advantage here because his megaliths will not need to travel as far to get into the fight. However, 4 gantries. 4 gantries all pumping right now. And a bunch of these are kind of synced up as well. These 3 are pretty decently synced up, so there's about to be 3 more megas on the field for a total of 4, and SoulRipper is just now getting his 3rd and 4th gantries up. 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 Adapters. Okay, so adapters from SoulRipper is an excellent choice here. It's really going to help turn the tide in a mega battle, because those adapters will just soak up a little bit of damage, and that's all you really need. 5th gantry going down. Wow. It's pretty rare that we see so many experimentals in a pro game like this, which really just means to me that both of these players really have a lot of respect for each other and didn't want to overextend in the early game. Because, most pro games are micro-oriented. The big units don't come out quite as often. Although, I would say that's been kind of changing as well in the last couple of years, as the skill ceiling has gotten higher and higher. There are more and more players who can force you into a situation like this where experimentals are what you need, and where neither player is really able to just run right over the other one. It's always exciting to see, and this has been a great game so far, even if it hasn't been all that action-packed. The strategizing and the metagaming going on here is just fantastic. And these builds, oh my god. These builds are just crazy cool. So many megas out onto the field already, and oh, we have a cicada. Now that is really, the value of that cicada, I would say, is probably higher than all of the adapters in this army right now. And with some good micro, the cicada's range is huge. It's covering all of these units right now. And if you put that on a separate control group and keep it just behind your army, then the army tanks like crazy, and the cicada just is perfectly safe. Now, it is best to have 2 cicadas, and we do... Do we have another one coming out? There's got to be another cicada in here somewhere. Yeah, that looks like a cicada right there. The air's still doing work cleaning up. Ooh, these bots did kill an engineer over here, it looks like. So, providing a little bit of distraction, keeping the air busy. Adapter's also doing work right now. The cicada is not turned on. So this is a real good time to push for SoulRipper, but he's got to be ready to retreat as soon as that cicada gets turned on. Because once it is, he loses his vision of the enemy army, it's going to be really difficult to get anything done. Still no adapters from Osmos here, which I honestly find a little bit surprising. We do have the second cicada out on the field now. Ooh, that cicada's right in front. That's not a good spot for it. Oh, okay, lucky. Both cicadas turned on now. Staggering them just a little bit. Great strategy, because when one goes down, the other will still cover. This is a lot of megas, though. And cicada number 1 does go down. Once cicada number 2 goes down, then these adapters really have a chance to make a difference in this fight. As it is, SoulRipper loses a mega. He's got 2 in the yellow as well. And these megas are all very healthy. Cicada number 2 will go down momentarily, I think. Yep, there we go. But now the air comes in. Are there enough adapters there to protect? And I don't think there are. The shields are popping in and out, but I think that's one mega dead right there with that bombing run. Only 2 megas left on the field for SoulRipper. Zoom out real quick, see if we're missing anything. Wow, so many gantries. SoulRipper trying to get another gantry out as well for himself. He's got a cicada of his own now, but will it be enough to turn the tide? There are no more cicadas at the front here. There is another cicada coming up from the rear for Osmos. Half health. Ooh, it's going down so fast, and with the death of that cicada, I really don't see how SoulRipper's going to be able to turn this one around. That's just too many megas right on his doorstep, and a cicada protecting him, plus the air. His entire army is pretty much gone at this point. And he's losing gantries, and yeah, I think this is going to be the end for SoulRipper here. But what an amazing fight here. SoulRipper does call GG, sees the writing on the wall, but this, man, I don't know about you guys, but this is the sort of stuff I love. This is the sort of stuff I come here for. Just these amazing builds. I don't know the last time I've seen this many gantries in one game. I love it. Alright, well that was only game 1. Nice, pretty long game there, 20 minutes almost. So we're going to go ahead and take a very short break. We'll be right back with game number 2 in this series. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone, to game 2 of this round 3 matchup. We'll go ahead and introduce our players here. First of all, spawning in as the yellow Cybran commander once again, it is SoulRipper. Here on Desolatia, he is Desolatia V2, excuse me. He is opting for a quick 2-factory land build. And his opponent, spawning in this time as the red UEF player. He is, of course, playing random in this tournament. It is Osmos. He is elected for a quick air factory here, which when playing versus Cybran is a pretty standard tactic, especially on a map like this where the rush distances are a little bit longer. Although I'll say this is probably still one of the smaller maps in the current tournament pool, even though the rush distance is significantly longer than the traditional spawns on this map. 3 land factories planned here for SoulRipper. Meanwhile, the first bomber is on its way across the map. And I think Osmos is going to be taking a very similar strategy to the last game, where he started off kind of small in terms of production and really focused on his eco and then built into a huge mid-game. There is not quite as much mass available on this map as there is on Open Palms, though, so I don't think we're going to be seeing another 7 or 8 gantries this time around. Of course, they would have to be fat boys. Or, you know what we haven't seen in competitive play in a long time? Jackhammers. I think those are a really fun unit, and I would like to see them more. So, to you tournament players out there, if you manage to get on the stream and you get a chance, build a jackhammer. It'll make me happy. Alright, well the bot flank is real, but there are enough bombers out, and there's a good position on this radar here to catch most of these bot flanks, and hopefully they won't do too much damage. Well, hopefully for Osmos anyways. SoulRipper's hoping they do a lot of damage. I can't help it, I'm a Cybran fanboy. Another land factory from SoulRipper. And I've noticed SoulRipper does this quite a bit. He's pausing his factories to be able to manage his economy, and you know that's kind of against the general wisdom. Usually, the pro wisdom there is you shouldn't pause your factories. You should be expanding your economy and your production at an even pace so that you don't have to pause your factories. Pausing your factories is bad because you will have fewer units, and units is what it takes to kill the enemy. So I don't know if this is maybe something new that SoulRipper is trying, or if it's, if it's a mistake that he's making. It doesn't seem to be a mistake. It seems to be intentional that he is building his economy in this way. And I think he's choosing a good moment to do it as well, because he's got bots all over Osmos's base, and the bombers are flying around trying to clean it all up, but when it's just 1 or 2 bots in a spot, especially if they spread out, it does take quite a while to clean this up. And 2 mass extractors have gone down here already. It looks like, I think there was an engineer over here that died. So SoulRipper is getting really good damage done with this bot flank, but he's going to need to capitalize on that to carry him into the mid game. And if he's constantly pausing his production to build more, then I don't know how he's going to do that. You can do a lot with a little in this game, but the longer he gives Osmos to build up, and the longer he the more time there is in between these waves, these little bot waves, the easier it's going to be for Osmos to get back into this game. As it is right now, I think Osmos is on the back foot, or at least he would be, if not for the fact that so many of these factories are still paused. And this one I don't think has built anything at all yet, has it? So we're getting some interesting economy management from SoulRipper here. Meanwhile, though, his micro with the bots has been pretty good. He does need to split here to avoid... Yeah, okay, beautiful. That's an excellent split. I like it. He does lose 1, and yeah, that's it. No damage on any of these other bots. No splash damage. So excellent micro there. He is keeping the bombers busy over here, but that's enough bombers that 4 bots really isn't that big of a threat, unless they're all split up. So yeah, and as I say it, of course, all the bots split up. A few tanks on the doorstep here, though, and Osmos is looking to try to protect this lane with a factory, and he might put a shield down there as well, but at the very least reinforcements that are gathering up here can stop these pushes. Meanwhile, these bots dancing around on the front with the tanks, and that's a planned flank in there, and if Osmos isn't quick, he can pull his tanks right around here and catch it. Oh, no, no, don't go that way. Alright, he's going to bring the bombers back to deal with this bot flank. And his tanks are pushing back the ACU of SoulRipper here. SoulRipper finally has his factories turned back on. He's got his eco pumping pretty nicely. But now Osmos has a bunch of tanks and an ACU on his front doorstep, and there's a ridge between them, so he can't defend both at once. So what was SoulRipper's advantage has, quickly turned into kind of a messy situation for him. He had his factories paused for so long to build out his economy and more production that he just does not have a lot of units right now. And with that point defense coming down, I don't see how he's going to hold on to this plateau. These bots coming in are just not going to be enough. They're already at half health, and I think it takes, what, like 7 or 8 full health bots to take out a point defense if there's no ACU there, and there's nothing else there at all. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult for him to hold on to this. We do see a shield coming up on that factory, which will tank a lot of the damage here, but the capture coming down on that factory, very well timed Control K there. Don't see a Control K or a structure detonate on that mass extractor, though. And the bots that were kind of holding position there got taken out by the planes. Another bombing run coming in, and there needs to be a split on these bots. Oh, that is painful. 5, 6, I think. And SoulRipper's army is just in tatters right now. And again, I don't know if the whole pausing the factories thing was an intentional economy trick that just did not work out for him, or if there were some mistakes going on there. Because, well, I mean, I think either way it was a mistake. But whether or not it was intentional and just did not work out, or if it was an accident, that I cannot say. 7 factories now, which, I mean, in theory should be more than enough to combat this, right? But he's just coming from such a behind position here, and now sending in his ACU to try to push this back. That is a lot of tanks, though, and it would be a close call if if Osmos stood his ground with those tanks and just tried to snipe the ACU. Control K comes in there, very well done. And Brackman now coming out onto the field as well. We haven't seen any other tech from Osmos at this point. He is getting a good number of energy generators up, and no, I don't see a research station at all for him. SoulRipper getting another factory here. I'm just worried about him having enough units to actually defend this push here. Osmos is coming in again. And you can see on the minimap the bombers are still busy up in the upper left there, cleaning up another bot flank. And that's a fair number of Brackman. I think it's enough to at least keep these tanks dancing, especially with the ACU there to actually put some damage down on them while they're trying to dodge. Ooh, these tanks are going to get some damage done for sure before the bots catch up to them, and looks like the planes are going to actually take out the bots before they even manage to catch up to the tanks. Meanwhile, mobile missile launchers over here have taken down this little extension base. Point defense still getting some damage done. The MML is not target firing it at this point. SoulRipper has managed to make a little bit of progress on the front here. He's got a little bit of AA on the factories as well. So that's going to help protect a little bit from the bombers. Nice split there. Oh, we do see a gantry. Will we see 7, though? I don't know. Oh, the bombers. Where'd they go? Oh, they went to deal with the thing in the middle. So now these bots have caught up. And a mass extractor has gone down. That one might also... I think, yeah, that one's going to go down as well before these tanks are cleaned up. But there's an engineer right there to rebuild at least. Alright, so SoulRipper will clean that up, still continuing to build a lot of Brackmen, which is great on a choke pointy map like this. But again, his right flank has just collapsed. And with his position on the plateau, Osmos could move these mobile missile launchers right here and prevent any buildings from going down in this area here, which is going to make it a lot harder for SoulRipper to plug up this choke point. It's a fair number of MMLs there, 6, I think. There's a few more over here, 9. So, really good number of MMLs to prevent any buildings from going down here, any static defenses or anything like that. Lots of Brackmen here. I think it's all Brackmen now, isn't it? Yeah, it looks like it's all Brackmen coming out of these factories. These bots will attempt another flank here to see if they can pick off a mass extractor, but he's already been caught on radar and the bombers are coming in. And, ooh, bad split there will cause 3 of those to go down. And it looks like he control K'd the other 2. Which, yeah, pretty good move. Although I think I maybe would have liked to see one bot go off that way, and so just at least make Osmos make a choice as to which one to follow. P-shields are on the field now, and still not a ton of them, but it looks like Osmos has converted a fair amount of his production over to P-shields, and as those build up, they're going to do more and more to protect this army. And now we see, yep, those MMLs firing down the ridge. The adapters will help out quite a bit, but there's not, again, just like with the P-shields, there's not a lot of them yet. Adapters and Brackmen do make a really good combo, though. Oh, here comes the flank. SoulRipper is ready for it. He's got a fair little army here that should be able to push this back, I think. But the first Fat Boy is now taking pot shots at the adapters and the blob at the front. And with those P-shields, that is going to be a very tough nut to crack. Really just the threat of this run-by here is enough to keep a little bit of an army back here and not on the front to deal with the Fat Boy, which is where it would really need to be. These Brackmen do start to take down a few P-shields, but here come the bombers again. And yeah, that air factory has been on continuous production here so far in this game. And, so much splash damage. I'm not sure how SoulRipper is going to deal with this. He is putting down some more energy generators, so I'm thinking he might have an experimental of his own coming. But he's so far behind in terms of positioning and economy at this point that I don't know how he's going to pull it out. A little bit of inattention on Osmos' part. Ooh, most of that army does go down to the Brackmen, which is painful. But meanwhile, this Fat Boy is doing an excellent job of thinning out the ranks on the front here. And even though those Brackmen will take down some shields... Oh, actually, that was a really nice connection there. 3-4, I think. So, not bad, but still not anywhere near what is needed. Nice cleanup on the bottom side there. I mean, keeping all of your army in one blob against that Fat Boy is a risky move. But the problem is that SoulRipper doesn't really have enough army to split it off into 2, and now there's a second Fat Boy on the field. Jump jets up onto the ridge. That is going to leave SoulRipper's front pretty exposed, though. So even though this is a really nice attack and he's going to get some damage done here, it's not really pulling attention away from the attack on the front. And if you're going for a base trade, well, SoulRipper has a lot more base to trade through, if you catch my meaning. He doesn't have as much himself, so he would have to kill Osmos' base really fast. I think we're going to see a unit detonate here. Oh, maybe not. No detonate, I don't think. Those units just got torn apart by those Fat Boys up close. And SoulRipper will call it there. Very valiant effort on his part. He will drop down into the loser's bracket, so he'll have plenty of chances to fight his way back to the finals. And congratulations to Osmos. We're going to take a short break and see if we can get the brackets updated for you guys, and we'll be right back.
If you're still watching, give a thumbs up to this video. If you liked the video, leave a comment. If you loved the video, please subscribe. And if you are blown away by it, check out my Patreon page. This has been Nite. Take care and peace out.